Okay, where was I? Andrew and the Magic Giveash ometer. I've got to find the bit where I was. I think. Ah, yes. Going straight. I was I started. Why I got confused was I started reading this one out last night, and then somebody came around the house, and so I had to stop, and so I'm kind of a little bit confused. But here we go. And I think this is part 14, and it's called Going Straight. Going straight, from about the age of 14-ish, drinking was a thrill. My earliest memories of a great night out would be when Pal Graham would nick a bottle of sherry or homemade wine, or even whiskey, and we'd be away, walking the streets in our best clobber, looking as cool as cucumbers, swigging from the sauce bottle. This very quickly developed into a habit, and the next thing I knew was I was drinking every day, or should I say night. I never really enjoyed daytime drinking. I liked to have my wits about me in daylight hours. But when the night time came around, that was fair game. For a while, I was a wine merchant. That certainly didn't help. Drinking posh wines and talking about cabbage on the nose. That just legitimised my obsession. And like I said, I never missed a night. As I got older, my hands began to shake. My thought processes got even more muddled, and I would forget even more than before. The problem was I genuinely believed that I needed it, that it was helping me. I believed that the only way I could sleep was to have alcohol. This is a common occurrence in the ADHD world. Drinking to calm down, drinking to calm the senses, drinking to cope. Here's the snag. ADHD and alcohol don't mix. It's like electricity and water. It doesn't stop all of those crazy thoughts. It just numbs them, jumbles them up even more. Now, fortunately, I never got nasty on the hooch. I was quite a jovial drunk, really. The strange thing was, nobody knew how bad I'd become. In the summer of 2018, I decided that enough was enough, and I booked myself into a clinic to get the help I needed. Well, they were a right bundle of fun, not. For my first appointment, I was met by a young woman who asked me how I had got there that morning, and when I replied car, she whipped out the breathalyzer. Talk about an instant breakdown of trust. Funny thing was, she knew who I was and was familiar with my work, and offered me the opportunity to come in the back entrance in the future so that nobody would know my secret. I declined. Next up, I met with two fellas who proceeded to tell me all about themselves and looked very disappointed with the quantities I was drinking. They had apparently been much bigger drinkers than me. This was a classic case of boozer snobbery. Now, this wasn't working for me. I decided to do it all myself and made a plan. And where do all good plans start? Google, of course. The first thing I found out was that you just can't stop, that might cause you to go into seizure. The second thing I found out was that I was right, you definitely need a plan. Onwards and upwards, I was to reduce my intake by alcohol by volume every alternate 2 days, whilst reducing actual volume every other 2 days. Finally, after a couple of weeks, the day came and I was ready to stop. Thank goodness for alcohol-free beer. There I was with my Beck's Blue and a wild look in my eye. That night I meant really dreamt. Talk about trip out city. I was told the spooky weirdness would wear off after 2 months, but it didn't. Oh no, not for me. I had one double or nothing. 4 months it took me. Well, I suppose it was a shock to the system after drinking every day for 40 years. And the grumpiness, terrible. But I did it. And as of writing this, I am 25 months dry. And I don't miss it one little bit. And the Beck's Blue, I drink gallons of the stuff. Since then, I've also given up fizzy pop and caffeinated drinks, and now my hands no longer shake. Andrew Whitehouse is feeling better. Sometimes people ask me if I am medicated for my ADHD or what my thoughts on ADHD medication are. There's no straight answer to these questions. I've tried most soft drugs in my youth, usually with the intention of slowing my brain down and or getting some respite. It has never worked. To be honest, I'm not about to try even more drugs just because they are street legal. I'm also very happy to be sober, and I don't really want to change that feeling. However, in the course of my work, I've seen many success stories with prescribed drugs. Equally, I have seen enough cases where it has not had the desired effect. Therefore, the simplest answer is that I would suggest that every case needs to be taken on its own merits, and an open mind should be exercised at all times. There is no magic bullet, or maybe there is. I would just like to add to that it is the 1st of September today, I think. Maybe the 2nd. Anyway, 7th of September, I will be 3 years sober. So there you go. Lovely to hear from you today. It's nice to speak to you. Don't forget, you can get the book $7.99 on Amazon. You can get it for $4.99 as a Kindle download, or if you're on Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Andrew and the Magic Giveash ometer. Lovely to see you, folks. Take care and see you soon.